Hi, Zena here, and I have with me April, who went through the VIP coaching. And thank you for being here, April.
Inviting me on.
Yes, and so I wanted to talk to you about your experience with the program. So my first question for you is, why did you decide to do the program?
I think it was something I'd wanted to do, earmarked it to happen. Eventually I'm going to go, and I had attempted to hire a personal trainer before, and I would go and work out with them for the first time, and they would just beat me to shreds, really. I would barely be able to walk the next day, and it just seemed to be a lot. And they would be talking to me about, before I ever knew what macros really were, oh, these macros, those macros, it felt like it was I would get drowned every time, but it was something I still wanted to do. When I heard that you had started this program and you were talking to me about how you really help acclimate people to the new mindset and you do it in smaller steps, that's when I knew it was going to be a really good choice for me to work with you, because I felt like this was my best chance at truly understanding the nuts and bolts of the process of not just getting in shape, but having a better mindset, having a healthier lifestyle overall.
Awesome. Yes. And so I remember at some point you were saying that the information, how I kind of disseminated that information to you, was easier for you to understand.
It was the most digestible information I'd ever been given on anything that had to do with nutrition, anything and everything. Because you really did. I mean, the first week when you gave us just those 3 workouts, the core 3, right?
Yeah, the daily 3, yes.
You said, and then also monitor your water. Start to keep an eye on your food intake. You weren't just like slamming numbers at us.
Right.
You weren't saying, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to buy. Get it now. It was slowly but surely, we're going to instill these really good, solid habits that are easy to manage for you. And then we'll start to piece on the things that get a bit more technical more and more.
Right. So it's like a
breaking it down like that it helped me continue.
Yeah. So it made it more sustainable for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't feel overwhelmed with numbers. I didn't feel overwhelmed with, this huge list of stuff I needed to get done. It was very digestible, which definitely kept me on it.
Okay, good. And so I know people are dying to know, like, what were your results? What were the results that you experienced?
My pants fit. My blazers fit. At the beginning of COVID, I think, I was drinking a bottle of wine here and there. Wasn't really keeping an eye on stuff. I was living a very complacent, sedentary lifestyle. So I think with that comes a lot of swelling, weight gain, muscle tone just going down, really not as strong as I was before, not as much energy. So definitely physically, things started to fit more. Even though sometimes I might have had the same amount of inches around my arm or around my leg, somehow my pants started to fit better.
Right.
The shape of my leg was changing, even though maybe the measurements were different. It was really interesting to see that happen. So that was really huge to me, fitting in the same clothes I have already. Energy was another thing that happened. That was a really great result. My energy went up. I slept a lot better. My mood also, I think, alongside that, improved quite a bit. I am very much a routine-oriented individual, so I felt like when I was able to complete, sometimes it didn't always have to be 100%, but at least working at 80% overall on average, I felt like that really helped improve my personal routine, my health routine, which gave me a healthier, like more holistic, healthy life.
Right. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were some of your biggest aha moments and takeaways from the program?
Mm. Aha, number one was about water intake and how important it was for your energy, your sleep, your mood. Um, the fact that you can hold on to so much water is incredible in your body. The effects that alcohol has on your body.
Mhm.
That was another aha moment. A third one was um, when I first started to see muscle tone on my arms. That was a huge, like, oh wow, it works
Right.
happening. And I think that was one of the, because it's such a small area, it was one of the first places I saw and could feel a muscle like changing. And then also when I picked up softball again, I was hitting balls out of the park almost. Not really out of the park. I'm exaggerating, but a lot further than I was before, a lot more consistent. So definitely that was really cool too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we had a little interruption there, but we're gonna continue on. Hitting the ball out of the park. So you're definitely getting stronger.
Yeah.
How would you say your experience of working with me personally was?
You know what? I looked forward to talking to you every time we talked, whether or not I was doing everything 100%, whether or not I felt like I did a good job that week. I didn't feel like you sugarcoated anything by any means. You did a really, you have a way of holding people accountable without rubbing their nose in all of their faults or making them feel bad. It is impossible to do 100% all of the time, but if you can just improve on one thing next week, the following week, so on and so forth, I think that your approach in that way was very comforting and made me feel much more confident in myself.
Right.
And my ability to get something done that I didn't know much about, that I was insecure about before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like that accountability piece was what really helped keep you on track, like in that beginning time, like knowing that you had that daily accountability?
It was that plus the fact that I could ask you questions.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't understand something that you had said, you weren't just talking to a whole classroom full of people and I'm sitting there like, okay, everybody else seems to understand what that means. I was able to kind of step out and say, hey, what did you mean by this? Can you boil this down for me? And you did a really, really excellent job with that.
Okay, thank you. What do you think was the hardest part of the program for you?
Hardest part of the program, accepting the fact that I couldn't do everything at 100% of the time. I'm an absolute overachiever and I'm a very routine oriented individual. I would call myself almost obsessive about getting certain things done every day. I used to feel a lot of anxiety about not getting the entire list completed. And so I don't really have that problem anymore because I had to accept 80% is okay, 70%, 50%, it's okay. There's tomorrow, right? Like don't try and make up for yesterday today. Continue on like it's a new blank sheet of paper and this is a marathon, not a race.
Yeah, it's not a sprint. It's definitely a long haul. And we just every day try to hit the targets as best we can. Yeah. And then the next day we do it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you feel like you've integrated a lot of the habits from the program?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so we were talking, like, do you feel like what you learned is sustainable? And
yeah. I had the ability, like I was saying to you earlier, that I kind of became a little bit, I was swamped at work. I was more focused on getting things done back at the office, here in the office. Haven't really been keeping an eye on stuff, and I kind of fell off the bandwagon. I went a couple of days without drinking water, and was just drinking coffee and wasn't sleeping. And then I was like, oh gosh, I remember this feeling. It's horrible. So started to scale back again on it. I have the ability to remember like 10 core things from your program that I know are going to just put me right back to where I was before.
Right.
It, maybe not in no time, but I will see a significant improvement in a week, 30 days. Yeah, it's definitely sustainable.
And that's what I wanted for you guys, is to be able to have the knowledge base so that if things started to go in the direction you started to notice, oh, this isn't going in the direction I want, you would know exactly what to do to bring it in. It wouldn't be a mystery. Like, these are the things I need to do.
Absolutely. And I will say this too. You can try and Google this stuff and figure out how to lose weight and figure out how to count macros and how to find out all this information on your own, but it will absolutely drown you in information and a million different opinions and all these kind of rumored diets and fasting and all this other stuff that maybe isn't best for you. Having you there to kind of help customize everything to the individual was really helpful.
Good. So you are a financial person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my question to you is, do you consider that the program was a good financial investment for you?
Absolutely. It was worth every penny. And I think that also continuing on to check in is a great idea as well.
Right.
There was somewhat of a camaraderie or fellowship amongst the other women who were going through the transformations or the program. I would say that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we're coming up to, another group program. So it's really a good thing to hear. I think it really does help to have those other women who are in it with you, and that you have people, including your coach, who are as invested in your success as you are.
Yeah.
It really helps, because on the days where you're having a hard time holding space for yourself, you've got all of these other people that are holding it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, April. And I look forward to continued catch-ups and
thank you
working together. Again, thank you. And I will be talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Bye.